From nothing serious, people tend to find themselves in a growing rapport that will metamorphose into something interesting, and from something interesting to something unbreakable. Yes, it happens like that. The human soul is programmed to get connected to the soul that is always there. The human soul is wired with some understanding that make it accept and cling to a like mind, a soul in whom they find pleasure, and they interact together in things that they love, and things that make them happy as it may be. With time, it becomes a strong bond of together forever. Being so attached to someone is not wrong, but where are you going with that person? Have you not heard someone saying, that person is my bestie? It could be between same gender or opposite gender. It could take any form, but what is important is where you're going in the relationship, what you tend to achieve, what you have set for yourself, and those things that are at stake. Sometimes particularly, you could get so attached to someone that you will lose focus on the real things of life and exert all your energies on just keeping the bond. What about your dreams? What about your life and purpose? What about your marriage? Of course, you may not have that plan to end up together. You are two inseparable beings. You are two unbreakable beings together. These things have effect, especially when you're supposed to give attention to something else. When you're expected to give attention to someone else, you will learn how you can avoid the effect of soul ties, and how you can let go of the bond, especially if it is posing a threat to your major life calling. If it is becoming the reason you do not have that time to build your life. If it is the reason you're not planning for yourself and you've been distracted from the real thing of life. Sometimes you may not know that you're soul tied with someone, but you're going to understand that those events and things happening in your life are signs that you're soul tied with someone and how you can let go. 3 signs that will reveal to you that you are soul tied with someone and how you can let go of it. 1. Excessively obsessed about someone. There is nothing wrong about caring for someone or trying to make sure someone is in good hands when the whole of your life and happiness is now attached to the well-being of that person. When the presence of that person is the only means with which you generate power and energy, when it becomes the only way you derive joy and happiness, then you're obsessed with that person, a sign that you are soul tied with him or her. These may cause serious problems. Being in a situation where your soul is with someone else but you're obsessed with another person. If you cannot deal with their absence, you cannot handle a moment without them being around you. You want to be with them always. You support their deeds. You're always thinking about them. You dream about them and you have them always on your mind. These are clear signs that you are in a soul tie with that person. Meanwhile, it could have been that it is a result of having too many things in common, or you have stayed together for so many years. You are mates in different levels of life. You have been together and you know the other person intimately. You are a Christian, but you do not have a close fellowship with God, and you're not obsessed with the things of your spiritual life as you're obsessed with this person. It is a sign that you're soul tied with that person. If you're experiencing this, then you have to know that you are soul tied with such person. 2. When the voice of the person repeatedly sounds in your mind. 1 Corinthians 14:10 tell us that there are, it may be, so many kinds of voices in the world, and none of them is without signification. Every sound, every voice you hear has a meaning, and you must not ignore the means, the communication, and what they represent to you. If you keep hearing the voice of someone speaking to you, if the voice keeps sounding to you persistently, especially when you're having a good time with your legitimate spouse, when you're having some intimacy with your spouse, then there is something that is being communicated to you in that manner, that is saying you are soul tied with that person. You will always lose focus and your attractions will be broken. Also, you will in turn not experience the fullness of pleasure from what you're having at the time. because the voice of the one with whom you are soul tied is yearning for yours too, and not allowing you to have intimacy with that person. Do you see how dangerous it could be? This will always be at your own expense. Your love affair is under attack here, and you have to do something fast to redeem the time and the love you share so that it will not die down. This is because the voice that speaks to you is that of the person in the spirit. What you did together has been translated into an entity in the spirit realm because it was consistent and lasted for a long while. 3. You feel the presence of the person you are soul tied with, oftentimes and whenever you are in a discussion or in the midst of people. This one is an obvious but most ignored sign that usually comes up. If you always find yourself in situations like this, then you must know that it is a sign that you are soul tied with someone. Have you ever asked yourself why such a thing is happening to you? Have you wondered why you will be with someone in the midst of friends or other people, but you will always feel the presence of a particular person? Have you thought why those things has been happening to you? It is because your soul is engaged to someone somewhere, so you have to do something about you. This is how you can let go of such situation. First, you will have to acknowledge that such things are happening to you. One of the things that happens to a person is when you know the situation of your life, but you're ignoring and denying that you're not in that condition. For you to break out from such situations, you have to first accept that you're observing those things in your life. If you accept it, then you will generate the energy to do something about it. You cannot deliberately fight a battle that you do not know. You only give yourself to the things that you know. If you're not pleased with your plight and things that are happening in your life, then you have to do something about it. And one of the things you will do is to first know that you are in such situations. Next, you should begin to break every link and contact you have with that person. There are some points of contact, such as items of remembrance, that will always ignite the situation, life memories shared, and gift items that have been held to heart. These things are the point of contact to the activation of event and connections to your soul-tied mate. You have to deliberately and consciously do something about it, so that you will not have to see those things again. Pictures and videos should be taken away. That is how you can let go of such situations and break out of it. Have you prayed? Is there anything prayer cannot do for you? There are so many things to be done, but few will meet the need so far. Soul tie is a spiritual occurrence, and for you to get out of it and solve the problem, you have to engage spiritual activities, praying against the forces and the covenant that kept it running. It is funny how you may think you can solve a spiritual problem with just a mere physical activity. Prayer is an ultimate life in the spirit, and that is the way you can handle any spiritual situation that has gone beyond the power and the capacity of human physical effort. You have a weapon that can break down anything that is lifting itself above the knowledge of God in your life. Prayer is the wisdom you exert in that situation, because that is how you will give God the chance to help you out of the situation. You have to pray to let go of it. It is a bond and it must be broken. It is a threat to your present relationship and marriage. So that is the reason you are to pay good attention to it. 2 Corinthians 10:4. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. 10:5. Casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. Some imaginations could torment someone and make them live in fear for a long time. But when you engage prayers, you gain boldness and courage to stand and resist every wrong influence in your life.